I wanted to share. You good, Thinbad? Yeah, another caller.
I sure do.
Okay, bring it on. All right, bring it on, and then I'll share some comments from the chat.
Thanks, other Dr. Marentic.
Yes, yes. We have to make sure we thank the other Dr. Marentic.
That's right. That's right.
And all the other folks.
Thank you for having me.
But that was important. That was important to bring up too, because it is a lot. To it's one thing to come back. It's another thing to come back safely.
Well, the thing is too, schools are taking it into their own hands, and I think that sometimes we forget that all it takes is one student, one staff member, one administrator to contract this, and then we have to start questioning what could we have done, what didn't we do, and what should we do, because at that point it's already too late. So
right, that's right.
I know that he's done phenomenal with these procedures in place, and it's good for everyone to hear, because you have to take the time to do it. If you don't, you're going to regret it later.
Well, this is for
thank you, Dr. Marentic.
Thank you, Dr. Marentic.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
And while we're there, do you have the other caller, Thinbad?
Yes, sir.
All right,
let's bring that one in right on now.
Bring it in.
Hello, caller. Thank you for your patience. How are you? You are on straight, no chaser.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How are you? Do you have a question for our guest?
I'm doing wonderful. Yes, I do have a question, actually.
Sure.
So my question is, I'm actually a former student and a former employee, and I just want to give a shout out because he's an amazing teacher and an amazing boss, and I love him so much. But I think the biggest thing that I really want to know from him, that has been my biggest concern going back to school, is how do we in CCSD not drop the ball? What is it that we need to do, or what is the main focus? Like, I've heard things from other administrations saying, we want to focus on, teaching on Mondays and Tuesdays, and Wednesdays we're going to do follow-up, and, this, that, and the third, so many different strategies. And my biggest thing is, I know the Clark County School District, and I know that kids can seep through the crevices, whether that be our SPED kids or kids that are just not necessarily interested in learning, kids that are having a hard time adjusting to the new quote-unquote norm. What do we do to not drop the ball when it comes to these children?
That's a very good question. The main thing that I've learned when I was in the United States Army and just being a leader is more being a servant leader, to understand and listen to the people around you. Just because I'm a principal, that doesn't mean I know everything. Case in point, today you're correct, because each middle school, they might have their own different schedule, because we have the autonomy to do that with all the schools. So, and you understand, in Las Vegas, you can have one school. There's a lot of elementary schools that just aren't in the same block because they're right next to each other, where you might have one that has the schedule and the other one has another. I think it's very important to make sure that you have all hands on deck. You have the teachers, the support professionals. We have meetings, and I know it's hard because, people don't want to be in meetings, but, just because I'm the principal, that doesn't mean that I have all the answers. Case in point, I showed my counselor and I showed all my teachers the schedule that I put together. It took me about 3.5 hours to make it equitable for students and staff. But my special ed facilitator said, we might have a problem with our special ed student. So right after our meeting, we met virtually, and I'm like, okay, what's wrong with the schedule? And they said that, the schedule is not conducive to meet with students' IEPs. So I'm like, okay, what can we do? I need suggestions to make sure that, we are in compliance. and we met for about 30 minutes, and we have a plan. So I'm going to redo the schedule, and it's their suggestion too. I'm going to redo it to make sure it looks good, and then on Friday we're going to have a follow up, and they're going to say, hey, looks good or bad. You got to make some tweaks, but I think it's very important that to make sure that students do not fall through the cracks is that you have to have everybody on deck ready to go. Everybody's opinion is valued. And because as we know, in some schools, I can say anywhere in this country, you have some schools that the principal is like, do what I say. And that's not the best practice in education. So in your school, make sure that you contribute and make sure that it's what's best for students. That's very important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Dr. Marentic.
No problem. Have a good day.
And thank you for calling.
Thanks, caller.
Absolutely.
Well,
Dr. Marentic, let me share a couple of things. But before I share some of the chat, our chat was lighting up. Our phones were lighting up tonight.
Yes, sir.
I also, I have to make sure that I mention that not only is Dr. Marentic's sister an educator, but his wife is an incredible educator as well. And now he's standing up again. Look at him. He's standing up and put his tie back on. Yeah. Look, everybody's putting their ties on, man, because she didn't mess around. She was actually at that school, and you remember, Wendell, the quality of work that she was doing there also. You remember when we had one of her students' music on our show, Tao. And so the Marentics are some educating folks. You know what I mean? His wife is
wake up, but they not even trying, and they just
that's right. They just talk education. That's right. They taught us. You should hear dinner time at their house, man. Dear, what do you think we're going to improve our algebra scores? What do you think, honey? I don't know. But in all seriousness,
book for fun.
That's right. That's right. But they are some incredible educators, and
thank you.
The school system and the students and the parents are very, very lucky that they have all the Marentics educating their children. And I'll just share a couple of things from the chat. Phil from Maryland says that we're having to give attention. We have to give attention to what Phil is describing as electronic truancy. There is a rise in trespassing and loitering. The children are not at home, staying at home. Parents are headed for massive pandemonium. The new normal can be a nightmare for parents and law enforcement. The question that must be answered is, what are we doing to prepare the students for this new normal? Adults are having a difficult time making these adjustments. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Marentic, before we move to these other chat comments and then we get out of here?
Well, I understand what the gentleman says in Maryland. I really think that some community members think that teachers are babysitters. No, they are teachers, okay? And parents need to be parents. And I've been in the teaching field about 25 years, and you can see that more and more teachers have to, yes, they have to be the teacher, student's teacher, and teach and give quality instruction. But we're having more and more teachers being parents, which I believe is a society thing. So I think I just want parents to stand up. You are the parent. You are in charge of the household. So, be that leader in your home and make sure that you have your children that they know what's right and wrong and do the right thing and go to class. I think, again, we're in this new norm, and sometimes we get blamed as educators. We need to be at school, but we like our lives too. We like to be alive. Sure. I can tell you that, and my kids, the buck stops here with me. They're not going to do anything stupid. And if they do that, you know, we're going to take care of it. We're not going to blame anybody. But I think that our society needs to understand that, you know, we are teachers, we're educators, we're not just babysitters. And some of the things, spend time with your children. I know when COVID started and you know, my kids are musicians, they're dancers, my daughter's in ballet, so it's like we're more outside of the house than in the house. So when COVID started, you know, we started to play board games, Monopoly, taught them Clue. You know, we're playing digital games on the TV where you guess things, and we're just spending some more time with each other. And I think this is the great time for parents to spend time with their kids and kind of get to know them a little bit, you know, because sometimes when you're, you know, taking them to the practices or rehearsals, you know, it's like, okay, here, how was your day? Great. Yeah, something to eat, great. Here you go. But just spend some quality time with your kids. And I know that COVID, you know, we don't like COVID because we can't do a lot of things, but it's great for families because we get to sit down. So I stress to parents, you know, just spend time with your kids. If you need help, reach out to your school if they're open, reach out to the community, your churches, your places of worship. You know, they'll have some activities and some ideas to make sure that your children are at home listening and staying out of trouble. And that's the biggest thing.
Sure.
And by the way, I need to say today's my daughter's birthday. She's 10.
Oh, shout her out.
Yeah. Alexis, I love you.
All right. And she truly is a star. Yes, indeed. She is a star, a future diva. Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Well, Dr. Marentic, we certainly have enjoyed having you on the show. I mean, you really lit up the charts tonight. I mean, the phones tonight, and Thin Bad enjoyed managing all those calls. He does such an incredible job, and we just take him for granted. Thank you, Thin Bad. You are the man.
Yeah. Hey, that was good. Only for you, Dr. Marentic and Marentic. And
thank you.
Yeah. How many more doctors is it in your family?
My other sister, she might think about starting it. She's a special education teacher, autism with pre-K, and she does a great job with her students.
So you have a
family full of educators.
So you have two sisters, and your wife are educators.
And my mom, she is still teaching.
Wow.
Yeah. She's a music specialist. She graduated from DePaul University in Chicago.
Okay.
Wow. And she's still teaching. She loves it.
Wow. Okay. So you guys are just an educated family.
That's it. I know who to call.
So, Thin Bad, any final thoughts before we say goodnight?
You are not going to embarrass me trying to talk around all these educators. No, sir. I'm going to be quiet.
That's right. You know, while we were on the call with Dr. Marentic, I actually bought some new verbs.
I dangled a few participles.
That's right. And you you can get arrested for that. You don't want to dangle your participles in public.
Not now.
No.
Not with this stuff going on. Not this COVID stuff. No, sir.
No, sir. I don't want to get COVID into my participles. That sounds painful.
That's hard to get rid of.
I think they got a shot for that, don't they?
Let me tell you something really funny. Where, you know, at the beginning of the show, you mentioned reading, writing, and arithmetic, right?
Yes, sir.
And you talked about the theme of today. I remember getting in trouble, and again, different time, different place, because I know when the school called my mom, she hung up the phone and she said, "Anthony, get your belt." There was no discussion, right? Because she knew who I was.
That's it.
So, I wish I only got that one, but you know that's a testament of.
There you go.
That's a testament of her and my dad raising me, because you know they made sure that you know they were in charge, not me. So I remember fourth grade, where our teacher she said, you know, we're going to talk about reading, writing, and arithmetic. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to teach us how to read, but